Yo, check it. Welcome back to another episode of Yo, Check It. Today we got two special guests.
Very, very special.
A husband and wife material in here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not talking
That's what
about
I'm
love
talking
today. Or we could.
We
could.
might be.
Yeah, probably.
We'll
It'll
see.
come up.
Well, yeah, whatever we talk about today is going to be whatever.
Hey.
I know. It's our first podcast, too.
Welcome
Technically.
on the podcast, guys.
Hey.
Well, before we do all the welcoming, please introduce yourself so that way your viewers and our viewers can, get a little bit of sense of who you guys are.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. My name is Jason McCowan. I work for an auto body distributor. We supply, auto body paint and supplies for body shop, collision repair shops. And that's my day job. On my spare time and my free time, I am a personal trainer. I am a freelance personal trainer. So sometimes I might come to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might train someone on the other side of the country online.
Oh, that's dope.
So try to keep it flexible. And
I might hit you up after this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, send me a quick workout on the way home.
He's got his app is like basically the Facebook for fitness.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can upload everything on there. So right now, one of my clients is on the East Coast, and so I have his weekly programs on there.
Yeah.
And he has a dashboard, so he can check his nutrition goals, his stats, his current measurements, everything. You name it.
That's
it's
cool. Did you make that
Yeah.
app yourself?
I didn't make it, no. So you
Okay.
can sign up
That would
for
be
it.
cool.
I pay for it, free for the clients.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice on their end.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, that's
Yep.
cool.
Who
Super
would
convenient.
ask a techie question like that? Did you make it? Hella nerdy. I love it.
I have to, you know.
I love it.
I gotta know the ins and outs of applications and how people make them.
That's badass. That makes
Yeah.
me happy. I
It's
wish I
super
had that
technical.
skill. My name's Monica Espinoza, and I'm the owner of I Am Me. And I provide beauty services. I'm a hairstylist and makeup artist. I am a fully licensed cosmetologist in the state of California and Nevada. And I am about 2 years into my technical business, and I have probably over, oh man, I'm bad at math. I probably have over 11 years of experience. So I run fashion shows, or nobody just does it by themselves, but I co-produce and things like that. I do a little bit of everything. I like variety in my work. So I just got off of 2 or 3 seasons worth of weddings, and now I'm just kind of shifting and revamping my my branding and my website and things like that, and kind of fine-tuning so I can take on a different type of clientele. So.
Ooh, dang! If any of that interested y'all, stay tuned. The plugs
Yes.
come in later.
Yes. Everybody can slide in their chance.
Right.
Your chance to slide in their DMs
Oh my God.
for business purposes.
For
since
business purposes.
They're married.
Hey, this is a power couple. Y'all better watch out.
It's true, though.
Anyways,
It's true. He runs my media. So when I'm
I do,
my clients,
yeah.
my girls end up liking him more. So if he has to
so
work.
the DMs slide through
No,
him.
seriously.
You know?
Nobody wants my time. They want him. So my girls, if I have to do a trial run or something where he's not there, I typically schedule it that way. But let's say offset chance it has to happen on a weekday and he's at work.
Yeah.
I'll let him know hey, Jason's not going to be here, or I don't think anything of it and I don't tell them, and they'll be like, hey, where's Jay? And I'm like, and then when I'm on the day of their wedding, I hear all the moms and the girls and the bridesmaids, and because I typically have my girls anywhere from 6 months to a year, they'll all be in the background oh yeah, did you know he runs her media? Yeah, he does her setup and everything. Oh no, isn't he the best? Monica, how did you train him? It's just I train him. He's just the greatest. So
Oh, dang.
Damn.
I got hella questions now. Hold on. We haven't even started this podcast yet. This is only introductions.
So how
is
does that make you
happening?
feel?
Yeah, I mean, so to give it a little bit of context, I've known Monica for
right?
a long time. Yeah, probably.
About 8 years.
Are we just saying our age now?
They already know.
Yeah, probably around. Yeah, probably around
You
8
don't gotta be
years.
ashamed.
No, I'm not.
You got
I'm,
Asian
I'm
in
30
you.
and I look good.
I look good.
Yeah.
Y'all look good. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Aw.
But
Thank you, genetics.
yeah, so she is a friend of one of my exes, and that's how I met her.
Hey, that was real life though.
Yeah.
That was great. That was on good terms. It's some of those awkward situations. We were all friends. So
Yeah. So and then I didn't hear from her for the
Oh,
last
so this is your fault.
a really long time. And then
Timing.
she just messaged me maybe like a month ago to catch up and see what I was up to. And I was kind of curious, like, why did she all of a sudden hit me up, you know? And then,
Well, we were friends on the book.
yeah, we've been
you know.
friends on Facebook for a long time, but we just never talked. And
Was
then,
it the cast? Was it the podcast that caught your eye? The gleam?
I don't know.
I just want to know because like
It-
people come up to us and they're like, "Hey, you said this." A lot of people actually thinking about it now. You said this on this podcast, and I'm like, "Did I? Hold on. Oh, I did. I gotta listen to that." And it makes you wonder, you know, like the
no, you just gotta
podcast.
smile and wave to be like, yeah, that sounds like me. especially
Sometimes.
if it was good. Don't even say did I say that? Be like, oh yeah, that definitely was me.
Well, I mean, if it sounds really good, I'm like, hell yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna stand by that.
But yeah, so we met up for coffee. We had good conversation. We've been kind of hanging out for like the past
Few weeks.
few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met a few times,
Yeah.
talked about other stuff.
JERiCK is one of the #1 videographers in town. Let's just
Oh,
state
man.
that. So I hit him up because I have projects in the works and they're serious projects, and so I needed a seriously good person that was dedicated to his craft. And he freelances now, and so his books opened up more, and now I get to do long-term projects with him, which is great, and
Just
it's
gonna-
good for you guys
Just
too.
gonna cut that part and just run that as an ad. Just like the first, like JERiCK's the best.
No,
There's
it's
the
just, it's
You're
just
just
like,
gonna cut it.
it's just like yeah, JERiCK's #1.
Yeah,
I'm
It's just
signed
all
right
good
now.
things
Yeah.
on the screen. It's just like, you know how in movies it's like best in town,
Right.
just
Yeah.
like in movies.
Yeah, like
Number
the
one in the city.
in
Right,
Reno,
got the
yeah.
movie voice.
Yeah.
#1 in Reno. But that's kind of what this podcast is about, is that JERiCK's like, hey, I have this podcast now, and I've seen it, and I've seen mutual friends that we have, our longtime friends, and I've tuned into a few of them, and they were really good. I really thoroughly enjoyed them, and I've never been on a podcast, and he was like, hey, you should totally come, and I was like, okay, I'm a talker, it's fine. But the topic
Nice.
of this is walking out your dreams, and each of us in some way has stepped out in life and really put ourselves out there and has had to figure out what forward and momentum looks like for us. And for JERiCK and I, we own our own businesses. So it's a different pursuit. These two have great day jobs, which is great for me because financial stability is amazing. I'm a contractor, you know, and I get
Yes.
his full
Yes to us.
love and support. But there's nothing wrong. Like everyone's process is different, and so that's kind of like what we want to talk about. Is, you know, he personal trains and he freelances, but he still has a day job. There's nothing wrong with that. Make your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I needed a different type of focus, and I've been going through an extremely different type of process. So I think all of us kind of feel like we've all been through the hard stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people get stuck and they'll give up too easily. Or they get discouraged and they're like, you know, this just isn't for me. It must have not been the plan or whatever. And so we're kind of here to encourage and to kind of share a little bit about our journey.
Ooh,
Perspective.
I like that a lot.
yeah. I didn't tell Christian what the topic was.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, I wasn't really
hey.
100% sure what the topic was. Monica was just like, "Oh, I have an idea," and then she gave me like a few words of what the idea was. I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good. Let's do it."
No, you know, it's good because like there are certain things. I don't know if you listened to our podcast with Devon, but it was just saying that things come into place for a reason. And I mean,
Oh,
you're on this podcast for a
100.
reason. People on here probably listening for a reason. So I mean,
Mhm.
not knowing this topic, like it's I got a lot of things to say about this.
I
this
love
topic,
it. No,
actually,
that's what I'm
thinking about
saying.
Fitting, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
why we didn't. That's why we didn't end up making bullet points and really go
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
organized route, because I feel like every one of us can relate to it in some kind of way or
Oh, yeah,
be
no,
able to share
absolutely.
about it. And shout out to Javon, you're awesome. We love you.
Yeah, we actually had coffee,
had coffee this
Oh,
morning.
what?
this morning.
Yeah, Javon's
so
very-
she met Javon.
Yeah.
And
And I have seen him on the podcast,
Yeah.
and I've heard a lot about him. So
Ah,
that was
okay.
really great.
John's
Well-
amazing. I love that guy.
before we
Yeah.
get off track, let's
Should we?
let's ask those two questions real quick.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
You want to ask it, Christian?
Yeah. Okay. So we normally start off these podcasts with two questions. First question: what are you guys' current obsessions? Yeah.
Let's keep it short and simple.
Okay. Mine actually recently has been the stock market.
Oh yeah,
believe it or
yeah.
not. So it's like day job, personal trainer, and then it's like stock market. Like, where did that come from? But I love all that stuff. So
Nice.
yeah,
The numbers games,
analytical.
you know,
Yeah, very.
and it's you know, in all honesty, like keeping track of stocks going up and down is kind of exciting because you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I put money in this, like, and when I was learning about it in school, I was just like,
Mhm.
man, this sounds kind of boring. But when you were actually in it and you're learning about it and you're doing things with it, it's just
a little
it's like,
different.
okay, yeah, you learn more about the products. You see a trend in the nature of their stock, and you're sitting there like, all right, do I want to put money in this? And it's
Right.
important for everybody to actually know that stock is important. You it's pretty much putting money to invest money. You know,
Mhm.
your money will grow continuously, and it's helpful.
Yeah. Do
And
you see value in it?
exactly. And if you put money in something and something that you see value in, that money's gonna either exponentially grow or you learn something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love
100%.
that. That's a true lesson. Was it 2 obsessions? Do you have another one? Or is
No,
it
no,
just,
just
that's
one
the
obsession.
first one obsession?
The next
Yeah.
questions could be just
Mine is everything related to my industries, I guess. So I'm super obsessed with don't laugh. I want to do celebrity makeup and so my focus and my research and my everything has a lot to do with beauty, has a lot to do with styling, has a lot to do with red carpet. So I'm obsessed with every kind of like award show right now. I like to see, and I love in specific, like I really love red carpet. So when they show up, I'm like, yes, like get it, queen. I was like, ooh, her facials are really paying off today, or oh, that product looks great.
Yeah.
And I really love to see. And then of course I follow the artists on Instagram, and so then I see like different feeds and behind the scenes. So I'm super obsessed with like all things like I guess beauty and celebrity and just like staying up to date. Because if I get hired, I want to make sure that like.
You know.
So if people have beef with each other, I'm not like, oh, Cardi B, you're best friends with Nicki Minaj, aren't you? And I just like, I don't want to be that person. I need to know. You
You're
know
doing
what I mean?
research. That's
you
I
gotta
have
key
to.
right there.
Yeah.
I have to.
I mean, it's there's always a beef with somebody. You just gotta.
Oh, it's
You know?
it's life in this industry, and sometimes it's just straight
Yeah.
up trolling. So I'm really obsessed with just my industry in general.
Nice.
Like I love it.
Sounds interesting.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun. You
Pop
know?
culture.
Pop culture, absolutely.
Pop
You never
culture.
know.
So the second question is, what is your guilty pleasure?
Ooh.
I got it.
Oh, you go first then.
Okay.
So quick to the draw.
I don't know if it's like
Yeah,
a
you can go
po-
first.
guilty, but like the Kardashians.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
a guilty
okay.
pleasure
That's a
right
guilty
there because she
pleasure.
was kind of
Sure.
ashamed
No,
and like
seriously, like-
admitting that.
No, because people will be like, "Oh, really?" I mean, I trained with it's called the master class, and that's
Yeah.
Mario Dedivanovich's master class. It's a big thing. He loves old theater, so he holds this big event,
Mhm.
an educational master class for makeup artists. And you don't have to be pro; you can just love makeup. And I went there in February, and basically, Kim Kardashian was his model. So it was a big deal to me. But when I was telling people and sharing that with them, I used to work at a coffee shop. So I was telling all my regulars, and there were a lot of people that were super excited for me and things like that.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, the Kardashians, like, oof. And then one of them was like, he was like, yeah, I hear Kim Kardashian looks so rough without makeup. I'm like, don't we all? You know what I mean? Like at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're in the studio and you haven't slept because you
Yeah.
have, kids and a full schedule that most people have no idea about. Like, yeah, you're going to look rough, bro. Like,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
So that's where the undertone came from, is because I had experience sharing a little bit
Mhm.
about it and hearing everyone's response or being like, oh, well, she's so fake, and just all this negative energy. And I was just like, okay, well,
Yeah, people
anyways.
just like to hate just to hate.
The
Yeah.
Kardashians
true.
are a family that people love to hate. They love
True.
I
they love
think-
them.
I feel like a lot of it is probably root to like envy.
Oh,
Is
100%.
because
Oh,
you
sure.
know
They're
Yeah.
successful.
They're
So
rich.
yeah, whether or
they're
not
rich
you
and successful, so
Yeah,
people are
whether-
just like hating it because
And that comes with the territory.
well,
Yeah.
people,
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
people are like,
It
what
is.
are they talented at? I'm like, well, they are very talented at making business
Business,
connections.
yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. They are very successful about that. But whether you like somebody or don't like them or their vibe or not, if they're successful in the industry, you have to pay a certain amount of attention to them because how are they doing it? So I watch the Kardashians a lot nowadays, because I see behind the scenes. So I'll see like like sometimes Mario Didovanovic, they'll capture them, or be behind the scenes on this set, and they'll show the actual set. So I'm like, oh, cool, look at like what like their setup and stuff like that. So it's actually like super educational and like research purposes for me, as well as a guilty pleasure because I love it. Like, who doesn't like reality TV? So personally, that's mine. And that was the best class ever. It was really good. And for those of you that don't know who Mario Didovanovic is, he is Kim Kardashian's longtime makeup artist, and he's everything in the beauty industry.
Oh,
He
that's
just
cool.
is.
Oh, don't worry. Whoever hates them probably gonna look him up.
Tell me about it.
Negative.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. No, I hate those. Are worse.
All right, Jason, what's your
Trolls.
Trolls.
guilty pleasure?
Does it smell like breakfast in here to you guys?
Probably my roommate is probably cooking something.
Nice.
That
Always
right
cooking
there is probably
chicken, I
one of
think.
my guilty pleasures.
Chicken.
Big ass breakfast.
that is no.
Jay's a
Nah.
You
breakfast
can never
person.
be guilty
That's
about
not
eating a
guilty
big ass breakfast.
pleasure.
I tell
Well,
you, breakfast.
His size of breakfast, you
Well,
might be able to be a
I
little
mean,
guilty
does it count
about
if you're like 5 eggs deep?
No.
Like, couple pieces
No,
of toast,
it does not
fruit,
count. I eat all of
bacon,
that.
Potatoes,
Breakfast is like my favorite meal of the day.
Mine too.
It's
Yeah.
like
Oh my
it's my
God.
favorite. Like I'll have it for lunch. I'll have it for dinner.
Oh yeah,
Breakfast is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would definitely be like a back
In
burner
a room
one,
full
for
of
sure.
boys.
I think honestly, I think for me it'd be like cars in the gym, and I say the gym just because like it's not something that I just like to do just to stay healthy, but it's
Mhm.
like I literally get up every day and think about it. And
Yeah.
you know those memes where it says like, weightlifter like has a day off, rest day, and he's like,
Yeah.
I wonder what the weights are doing. Like I feel like that's me. Like because I'm like I just enjoy it so much, like to the
No.
point where it's like people are probably like, shut up, you know.
It's not just
There's
that though. I
nothing wrong
think,
with that.
but I feel like a guilty pleasure is something that maybe you shouldn't like.
You're a little
be-
bit ashamed of.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
like your love for pizza
Oh, okay.
and how it makes you like.
I mean,
like sick.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know my guilty pleasure:
Okay.
I need to know.
eating cold food. Like
There's nothing wrong with that. I was raised.
no.
that.
Like you know how you get Little Caesars pizza and you leave
Yeah.
that pizza out for maybe like
That's
a
the
day or
best.
two.
That's the only way to eat that pizza. Let's
Oh,
talk about that.
okay,
That's the only way to-
okay.
That's the only way to
You
eat
mean
that
when
pizza.
it turns into cardboard?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah,
just the
like
best.
it's fine.
like,
Or it's been sitting out for a few hours because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got busy.
yeah.
And you eye that piece like I don't got time for
So
lunch, so I'm gonna
gross.
eat that.
Yeah,
it's
ever go
fine.
to a Mexican restaurant, order a burrito, and just let that stuff sit for maybe a day, and you're just like, oh, I remember that burrito, and
I don't know.
you
about
get it
that.
directly from your fridge. You're like,
No.
it's good.
Well, I
It's
mean, I
delicious.
guess that's why it's a guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
What's yours, Jerk? Or wait,
mine?
do you have another one?
No,
Sorry, babe. I didn't mean to cut you
Like,
off.
I guess I'm just kind of a basic.
Uh,
Basic
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about it. Do yours. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna think at the same time.
well, I don't really have a lot of guilty pleasure, but
You just go out and do it.
yeah, because I don't really give a shit. So if I ever have to give and I used to think that like listening to Disney music is like a little bit embarrassing,
Nah.
that's not.
but
bad.
now I don't give a shit. So
That is some beautiful music.
I love my Disney music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Beauty and the Beast. I'll sing the shit out of that song.
Britney Spears. I love you when you posted. JERiCK posted on his stories the other day that he was like, you know what? I don't care. I fucking love this song. And it was like,
Hit me up, baby, one more time.
Yes.
Come on, don't tell me that song comes on. You're just like, oops, I.
Yeah.
And you start going
Yeah.
like this. Come on.
No, you
Yeah,
know he gets
come on.
fully into it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's even better when you know the dance moves. That's where
I don't
it's
know
at.
the dance moves, but I know most of the lyrics probably.
Do it and
Yeah.
then drive the streets of Reno and
Yeah.
then
You know, you bump it up, and then when
Yeah.
you're in the stop sign, you're like,
The
Sit down a little bit.
You put the windows up a
No,
little bit.
especially if it's like summertime and you have the windows down, and be like, oh.
No. Yeah, it's
JERiCK's
so
like, oh, he
true.
rolls up to next to Hawker. It's like Hawk Girl Summer, like rolls up the window, like I wasn't.
Well, and then the light turns green. You're like, whoop, back
Yeah,
up.
exactly. No one's driving next to you anymore.
I'm the type of person that'll bump up the music, turn the window down, and I'll look next to the person. And I'm just like,
Right.
and I'll
Yeah.
try and get them to sing with me,
Yeah.
because you know that song's good. That song's popping.
That's where it's at. I ignore everyone that tries to get my attention when I drive, though, because I have anxiety. So there's no, like, I don't care. You could be
She's
my
like
dad.
She's
I
like the
don't-
person at a stoplight that's like 10 and 2, baby. 10 and 2.
Not even. I have my glasses on. My
Only when
oversized
there's a cop
glasses, so
around,
I'm
you know?
fine.
Yeah, right.
Not even know when the cops
Oh,
are around because
geez.
I've served them, like the majority of them, like a lot of them for like 3 years. So I'll be
Uh-huh.
like, honk, honk. Like, so the cops that know me, they know when they hear a horn honking at them for the most part and they see a black truck, like they're like, hey. Yeah, so or I'll like
yeah.
roll up next to one of them. Like I know a few like motorcycle cops, and I'll be like honk honk while they have someone pulled over,
Yeah. Oh, what?
and they know, and they'll like one of them who like throw up the piece or whatever because it
Like,
was
yo,
in my
what's good?
neighborhood. Yeah,
And he goes back to writing it down, ticket.
I love where we live. Sparks is where it's at.
Sparks.
Sparks
Hey,
is where it's at.
represent.
Community though,
Yeah.
for sure.
But
Which is,
let's get back to
All
the
right.
topic.
We about to dive in to this topic that you had.
walking out your dreams.
Walking out your
Nice.
dreams.
Sing a
So
little bit of that.
Walk it like you
basically,
talk it.
following your dreams, passion, whatever you're into,
What it means for you.
what it means.
Oh man.
What it's looked like for you thus
Or
far.
if you don't even know what your passion is, that might be a
Ooh.
good topic.
Starting
Ooh,
point.
to find out what
Yeah.
that passion is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just stumble on that stuff. You know, you never know. You suddenly. I mean, everybody. I think the general idea of where, what people think that they need to do in their life is to go to school, finish college, and then
Work
like,
that job for the next
Yeah.
50 years of your life.
But
hmm
you can't just do that. You know.
Well, you can, but you're
Well,
going to hit a roadblock, and somewhere along the way, you're going to be like, why am I so miserable?
Yeah.
And then
no,
eventually you start
absolutely.
pulling it back, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, like maybe I should have done what I really wanted to do, or you still have those same desires that you
Yeah.
had when you were younger.
Well, it's interesting because my my work friend. I'm just gonna say work friend because I'm not gonna.
Oh,
they,
no, for
sometimes they watch. Sometimes they watch.
Yeah. Hey,
uh,
shout out, work
my,
friend.
My work friend, she decided to just up and leave and follow her dreams, and I was ecstatic for her. I was
Oh,
like,
one
what?
of your friends,
Yeah, one of my
work friend, just quit?
Well, I mean, obviously she gave her 2 weeks and
Oh,
she
yeah.
did her whole spiel, but
Yeah.
it's good to know that like in a secure job like that, there is still time. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter like where you are in your life. There is still time to go do whatever the hell you want to do. Like
True, though.
Absolutely.
you can't.
100%.
And you need
Yeah.
to. You absolutely need to because time in life isn't guaranteed. And there's something, I believe there's something special in each and every one of us. Hold up. Pause due to poor connection.
Oh
that's fine.
snap!
Oh, okay,
it
there it
is.
goes.
You
Sorry. New.
good.
I believe that there's something very special and unique or multiple things in each and every one of us. And it's kind of like your duties to the world. Like
Yeah.
sometimes walking out your dreams doesn't mean that it's your career. Sometimes it's your family.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you're that stay-at-home mom that always wanted 5 kids and you cannot wait to be there and do the whole shebang thing. Sometimes it's just even, being a good parent, like just whatever it is.
right.
So I really want to encourage that anyone that does have a day job or, is super burnt out, like really, really know that you're doing a good job. And just because, your coworker up and quit her job and like you never know someone's circumstances. So just the best you can do is focus on you, focus on what your life looks like and make good decisions, what the things that you feel are right for you with where you're at and then grow into, your vision where you want to be.
And I think the goal is just to ultimately just be happy.
Yeah.
And if you're happy with whatever your situation is, if you have your own business or if you're working 9 to 5 and you love your weekends or nights with your family, doing whatever, if you're enjoying your life, do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't, because not everybody has to have their own business. And I think that's what we're trying to,
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
because you know how having your own business sounds so cool these days,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah.
But
I love that.
the
yeah.
I feel like the grass is always greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they see is just, oh, he's free, he has his own time,
Got a
you know,
business card,
success.
and
You know,
branding.
business and doing all that, but it's not as glamorous as everybody think it is.
No, and you have to know yourself. You really have to know if you love a certain type of structure and you know that you thrive in that environment, if you don't want to basically be self-disciplined at home and do what you know you need to do, or you know that you might not have the capability of it and you're not interested in learning it, then you should probably go work for, maybe just instead of getting your own business, do a better company. Like figure out a company that resonates with you now. You know what I mean? Like you don't have being an employee is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think don't chase the money too, unless what you're passionate about is like making money. I mean, I know because I know some people that are like, oh, they just love to make extra money here and there, and they love doing that, just selling eBay stuff or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And that's
Stock
fine.
market.
But like if you're trying to or stock market, if you're trying to just do something because like, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire, or because it's the hot thing to do right now, like, you know, everybody's trying to get into like real estate, and you know, it's a good gig, but not everybody has that skill or the ability or even the drive, because like when that money doesn't come, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
Well, and
You
who
keep
are
pushing
you?
forward.
Who are you when things don't look good?
Yeah,
you know, or when you're looking like a fool and crazy, because I know people look at me that way for sure. But rule number 1, know yourself. Number 2, you don't have to have it all figured out, but you have to be the type of person that's willing to go out and figure it out. And sometimes going out and figuring it out means spending time with yourself and making sure that you're in motion. That's like a whole nother topic, but it looks different for everybody. So know yourself, know your desires, like pay attention to the things that make you happy, and also pay attention to the things that piss you off. Don't disregard the petty shit that pisses you off. Like, what is it? You know, passion isn't just about being excited about something. It's also the things that irk you, because like for me, it's customer service. I love people. My girls, my clients, they know I'm there for them. And I make sure of it. I make sure that their needs are met, that they feel special, and I build that connection with them. I'm very passionate about that type of service and business. And not everybody is. So what frustrates me, or what really ticks me off, is when I hear experiences that are like that. And so I'm very passionate about good customer service, but it also, like, a clue to that of what I really liked was the whole me getting really mad when I heard about when like literally I'd be like, for real? Like, that did not happen. Like, that's not real life. And I'd have my girls being like, no, really, that did happen to me before I found you. And I was like, oof. You know, that's not a judgment, just like that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that people lose that personal relationship.
Yeah, people, I feel like, are in things that they're in it just to be in it. Like, some people, you know what sucks? Like, this is the thing that, like,
Yeah,
kind of
that's what I'm saying. It's passion.
You know what?
Passion looks different.
You know what really
just-
grinds my gears?
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what just
I'm just saying, like, okay, all these people, I mean, obviously, like, I went the college route, right? You know, I'm an IT, I'm an IT guy. I go and do all that IT stuff. But as I was doing college, I was sitting there, these people are like, nursing this and nursing that, and I don't know if I even like this. And I'm like, why are you doing it? And they're like, because the money's good. And I'm like, no, get the hell out of here. First and
Yeah.
foremost, if you're gonna like try and be a nurse and you don't like it, like, you're just gonna throw off like everybody who deserves that spot. You know, like, don't
That's
do it
true,
for the
though.
money. Do it for. Go find your passion.
Your
like,
patience will pay for it.
yeah, your patience will pay for it. Like, yeah, now you know, like, what a patella for your knee is and how to fix that shit. But what about like,
or that OChem that they don't use. Oh, OChem, I hear all about that.
No, yeah, OChem was terrible.
OChem, no, I hear. Yeah, we have a
I hated it.
We have a not soon to be, but eventually will be a surgeon, and she's
Yeah.
a surgical tech, but it's his sister, and she'll be a surgeon one day. And I remember looking at the OChem, that was crazy.
Oof.
She hated
It was even crazier with a bottle of wine, but let's not get into that.
But I mean, I guess what I'm just trying to say here is that you gotta be passionate about saving people's lives. That's what being a doctor is. It's like, oh, I want to know what ails you, and I'm gonna save your life, or I'm just gonna fix your small boo boo here because you know what, you just need a band-aid over that shit. But like, that's what grinds my gears.
Doing things for the right reasons.
Yes, for the
that's
right
what
reasons.
it is.
Absolutely.
So that's another
Yeah.
path too.
I think
Know
it's just-
yourself and do things for the right reasons.
And you just gotta know your why. Why
Yeah.
are you doing it?
Yeah, that's valid. That's focus. I love a lot of things. I have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing too is, like, even if you're, say you're like 5-10 years into your career, And if you hit that kind of like rut and you're like, you don't know why you're doing it anymore. And if you can like recognize that, then maybe revisit that why. You know, like maybe that was just
Ooh.
like a portion of your life that maybe you kind of want to do something else now.
That
You know
goes
what I
back to the
mean?
whole
Yeah,
glamour
absolutely.
thing.
I agree. I
Mhm.
agree.
That's I mean, being a business owner, you don't just do one thing; you do all the things. So you mean you could be a photographer one day, and you can be, that customer service specialist the next day, troubleshooting problems. Oh my god, I had an allergic reaction. All right, I'm now a nurse, or I'm a dermatologist now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have licensing for it, but you get the picture. And it really is, and it's not just about doing what you want to do. You have to know the things that you need to do, the
Yeah.
things that you hate. And we
'Cause-
were talking about this.
Because I think what people don't realize is a lot of the things takes a lot of work too.
Oh my god, all the work.
Like
All the
like
work, yeah.
Taxes.
because I think people
Taxes,
talk,
that's real life.
yeah, exactly.
The
Taxes.
things that you don't know
Yeah.
because it's
I don't even
different.
know how to fucking do taxes.
I
but
do.
yeah.
I learned that. And
Still,
you got to get hooked up with the right people.
Yeah, I'm still learning about that stuff.
JERiCK,
But
I will
yeah,
reference.
it's just like everybody's like, oh, I want to be a photographer, or I want to make videos, or I
Mhm.
want to do a podcast, and then I'm just looking at them and just like, okay. I mean, I'm not the type of person that would just like, no, don't do it.
Mhm.
Like, I tell them, do it, but you have to realize that it's gonna be a lot of work.
And
This one podcast episode is probably gonna take me 5 to 6 hours total of
I
work.
love you,
so-
JERiCK. Thank you.
So it's like I think what
No, it's
people don't
true.
realize
It's
is
true.
like, oh, they think, oh, they're just sitting there and talking.
No.
But
Yeah.
They just see
yeah.
the finalized product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
But and on top of that, though, for that point with everyone just wanting to do things, it's okay to do things that you've never done before and go for it. And
Yeah.
maybe you're new. That's another thing. Get over yourself because you're not going to be the best right away.
Yeah.
You might be talented, but you're not the only one. And sorry, I'm a straight shooter.
No,
I'm so- no,
I'm
it's true. You're
feeling
not.
that.
You're
Cut
not
me-
always
cut me
going to
real
be.
deep.
You're not always going to
Just
be.
at me already.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be the best right away, but be willing
Exactly.
to learn. You really have to be willing to learn and put yourself out there. And when you're not the best, and when you do suck, and you have to have the drive to keep going. You need to keep going
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have to push through. You have to break through that so that you can get better and reach that growth spurt.
Yeah, when people ask me like, "Oh, how do I become a photographer?" I'm like, "Talk to me when you take thousands of like shitty photos, and then come back to me after you do that."
Know what it's like
Dude.
to fail.
100%. No, that's so good because like I just heard this thing the other day. Like people always ask, so like with stocks and stuff.
Yeah.
I follow this guy and he was saying that he gets questions all the time of, well,
Make it a little bit closer.
they ask him questions all the time like, how do I build my portfolio?
Yeah, yeah.
How do I make my first $1,000?
Yeah.
How do I this? What does this term mean? And
People just
it's
like to take shortcuts.
it's like, dude, why don't you do a little like just Google or
Yeah, yeah.
research or something?
Oh.
Like a lot of times it's like put in a little footwork. It's not just about like, well, how do I do this? Because that's like a question that leads to like, well, how do I do this? Because I just want to get to here
Yeah.
and skip all that.
The instant gratification that that we are provided in this day and age,
Yep.
where you can immediately search what you want. I think that is what kind of kills like some people's
I think the lack
Drive.
of patience
and the
too.
lack of patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing that I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say like our generation, but like we're all around the same age.
Yeah.
And we were back in the day before. I mean, cell phones were obviously around, but we didn't have social media, and we really had to do the bump and grind thing where you start something. But you have to do it long enough to get great at it or
Yeah.
good at it and then get great at it. And if it's stuck, then, like obviously it's something that you love.
Mhm.
But you can't just nowadays, like it's the instant gratification. It's like, well, I'm not good at anything. Well, how long have you been doing it for? Were you willing to suck at it for a long time? I mean, you know what my makeup looked like before? And granted, honestly, I'll be real about it. Like, no, there were some shitty times, but
You gotta, you
no,
know,
but for what it was and not knowing anything about
Yeah.
it and not having anyone teach me, everything
Yeah.
that I know, I'm self-taught. Yeah, I'm a cosmetologist, but like you don't learn that in school kind of thing. And I learned that really quick. I was like, I'm gonna learn all about makeup. I'm gonna get, this is the training that I need. I'm gonna be on the next level. And I go to school, they're teaching you how to pass a test. Like everything I know is research, it's trial and error, it's time, it's a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But nowadays people don't like to do that because they don't like to suck. And the moment their ego's hurt, they're like, done.
Yeah.
yeah,
And they
You
like
know?
to compare to with other people too. Like,
That's hard.
yeah. Like, why are you comparing yourself to somebody that's been doing it for many, many years?
through them.
if you've never done it before.
Be inspired by the people that have come
Yeah.
before you and started before you. And if you have access to them, ask them how they did it. And if they're willing to share because they're awesome,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and don't feel threatened, then they're going to do that. Some people won't respond because they want to keep things to themselves,
Yeah.
teach their own. I personally like to tell, but
You know, and a lot of times too, if you really want to do something and somebody gives you like constructive feedback, it's
Yeah.
not like to hurt your feelings, but if they say, you know, like if it's a question like that and they think that you should
Me.
take these other steps first
Yeah.
before just giving you that answer, and they tell you that, it's okay to like take that and be like, you know what, that's a good point. Maybe I should, you know, be open-minded to
Yeah,
hearing
absolutely.
that, you know, that constructive feedback.
I feel like people
Yeah.
need to learn to be, at least in my industry, people need to learn to be a little bit humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I understand. Like, okay, you're great at what you do, and you've gotten to that point because, yeah, you did take all those photos or you did take all this training, but at the end of the day, you gotta understand that, you know, like some people, like they're trying to get up to where you're at, so maybe like show them the way, but don't, you know, like, yeah, you put in hours in there. Some people need to understand also though, like that the people who did put in those hours, you gotta respect that. You gotta
Yeah.
respect that
They
because
put
like
in that time.
they put in that time. How much time have you put in there? You got humble. You gotta be humble. You gotta have the respect. I feel like in my industry, people like the instant gratification. It's killer. It's like, hey, why is this not working? It's like, bro, relax. Don't yell at
Yeah.
me. I got you.
yeah.
Let's take it one step at a time. And if you really think about it, like a regular 9 to 5, right? When you first started your job, I'm pretty positive somebody had shown you, like, yeah, you maybe you have had training, maybe you went to school for it, but someone still had to show you how to do your exact
Oh
job.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And you do that job daily. And if I think about it, the thing that I do, like, I had to learn the things that I know now on a daily basis. And I still ask questions. Like,
Sure.
I will never not know the answer, but I'm not gonna sit there and ask people like, oh, hey, what's the answer to this? I will do my research first, and if I can't get to a solid answer and be like, oh, okay, like this, I mean, because it feels really good when I get it myself. But
Oh yeah.
if I know if I have to go to somebody, I'm like, look, dude, like I tried, I went and looked at this, and this, and I couldn't find it. Hey, do you think could you, the person that like is already up there? Do you already know like how do I get here?
yeah.
Because you value it.
Absolutely.
You know, like you value that time because you put in the effort, you put in that work, right? And then
Yes.
you get to see the finished product. So like this is kind of silly, but as a kid doing yard work, I was told, you know, like you'll feel so much more accomplished after you get it done.
Yeah.
Even though it's something you
yeah.
know you have to do or whatever. And I was like, that's stupid. I'd get done. I felt like I did something constructive with my day. It was so simple, but it was like that little seed that was planted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's as simple as doing your bed every morning. It's just it. To be honest, like that's all it is. You know, you do what you need to do in order to feel better about yourself, but at the same time, it's just doing it like consistently. You have to
Yeah.
consist-
Make your
Actually,
bed every
morning.
speaking of doing my bed, before
it's done.
before I never did it. I was like, what's the point? I'm just gonna come back to my room anyways. You know, like I'm
Such
gonna
a
be
boy.
I'm gonna come here every single day. Like, what's the point of making it?
Right.
But then, since when I moved out of my parents, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make my bed at least, you know,
Every
every
now
single
and then.
day
Yeah.
before I leave the house.
It's doing the
Mhm.
things that
Um,
you
I think
know you should do for yourself.
I think it's just taking those little wins. It's
Mhm.
like
Absolutely.
it took
Agreed.
me 10, 15 seconds just to do my bed. That's like a win for me.
Hey,
You
there's
know,
not a
Yeah.
whole. There might
And,
not be a whole lot of wins in life, but make your bed.
Exactly.
Make your bed.
No,
Guaranteed.
no, like seriously, like those little things will stack up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
no.
will boost your confidence.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
I
compound.
don't know, like it
I mean-
sounds silly, but like making your bed will boost your confidence. But I was like,
Helps with
you
discipline
know what?
too.
When people come over and then my bed's made, I'm like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Like
Yeah.
that bed looked nice.
Exactly.
I did that.
There's a saying, right?
Exactly.
The saying goes, "Make your bed because you're gonna lay in it."
yeah.
You know, if you
Mhm.
you want to be laying in a messy ass bed, what the hell? You're
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah. Or just like keep your room clean. Whatever
Mhm.
little accomplishments you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
But those are mindsets too, and
Yeah.
those types of mindsets and mannerisms, behaviors, things like that, they carry into your everyday life,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
which is the biggest thing that you could do. I mean, regardless, and that's crucial to walking out your dreams. That's crucial to
Mhm.
growing. Walking out your dreams could be just being like, I want to grow as a human being. I want to be better. I want to be more patient. I want to be more kind. I want to.
Yeah.
So those kinds of that willingness basically to do what you know you need to do, the work. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about, and that's like the key
Ooh.
ingredient to walking out your
Yeah,
dreams is
'cause I
doing
think
it.
it's not all about what you do in life. It's
Nope.
about who you are as a person.
Yeah. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, you're the one living with yourself, and
Yeah.
you can totally see it around you. If like people are like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, why I used to hang out with these people, then I don't hang out with them. Well, obviously there's something wrong with you. You know, you gotta do what's best for you and people around you.
Mhm.
No, it's
Or
true.
it could be the other way around too.
Oh, it could be another way around too. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
you not necessarily avoid people, but you
Protect
hang
your
out with
peace.
them like less
yeah.
and less because what you're doing doesn't necessarily align with what they're doing.
That's what we were
That's
talking
also
about.
true.
And that's totally fine. Like I have different friends for different types of things that I'm doing. So like I have like business friends and I have,
Arts
recently,
friends,
yeah,
portrait friends.
yeah, like photography friends, like you surround
Yeah.
yourself with who you're trying to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with walking out your dreams and doing that kind of stuff, also please know that what I've learned, what we both have been learning recently, recent meaning the past like year and a half, is it's okay to let relationships expire. You know what I mean? As you grow, as you move forward in life, if relationships, friendships, whatever it is, no longer are aligned with what you're doing and what you're trying to do and accomplish, whether it's, having more downtime, or, you're doing your business and now you have to focus over here. Like, it's okay to let relationships expire that are no longer serving you in the way that you need. I'm not talking about like, oh, well, not like that. Like, if you're spending more time and energy with your friend that loves to, like gossip, or they're a little bit more negative, but you're working specifically for yourself on trying to be more positive, maybe you need to spend less time with negative Nancy over here or bitter ass Betty. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
really recognizing that doesn't make them a
Yeah,
bad person,
yeah,
but it just,
I mean,
intentional.
and then what we're trying to say is you don't necessarily have to like, oh, fuck you, like I'm not
Yeah.
ever gonna
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
to you
yeah,
ever
yeah,
again.
yeah. No, we're not
No.
saying
Yeah.
we're gonna alienate you.
Yeah.
No.
It's
We're
just
just
like-
saying
Try
It's okay
to,
to pull back a little.
Yeah.
pull back a little bit.
Or refocus
Yeah.
on the things that you know you need to do.
Yeah.
So instead of intentionally going out of your way to spend a lot of time or half your day with this person,
Yeah.
maybe you spend a morning with them, and then you go and do your stuff.
Yeah,
You
like
know, I
if
don't
you
know.
see him, if you're around that like every single day, maybe maybe cut it less and less until you're whatever you're comfortable with. Because
Yeah.
obviously we don't necessarily just want to like burn bridges.
yeah, the
but
bridges aren't
Oh,
being
no.
burned. It's
Yeah.
just like
Sometimes they just,
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just multiple
People-
bridges.
you're on a different path in your own life, and you're trying to. This is all aspects, you're in a different path in your own life, and like maybe you're just trying to start a family, or maybe you're just trying to start a business.
That's a good one,
And
the
peop-
family.
People just gotta understand that like you're not being alienated. It's just you're putting some time and effort in something that you really want in your life. You know?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More of it. More
Yeah.
like intentional is my word for this year. I didn't have one. I had like a whole New Year's Eve new ritual that we did together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But one of the things was like picking your word for the year, so to speak. And I've heard people do this before, but I never was intentional about it, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
always kind of like ended up being like a theme, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious now. What is your word of the year?
Intentional.
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 Is it the same for
It's
you,
been
Jake?
going up.
Nope.
It's been coming up.
Mine's different.
Do you
What
have
is
yours?
it?
I just figured mine out. I didn't do it like because it didn't come to me in the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
I thought it was going to.
So mine, when she brought it up to me, like having that focus for the
Yeah.
year,
That's
like
the
mine
best.
came to me right away, and
What
it's
was
just
it?
like I wrote it down, and mine's prosperity.
Ooh.
Because like
that's a great one.
because it covers like like that's just what I felt like coming
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And so
Love
like
that.
for me, like prosperity meant like not just like
Ching,
making
ching.
money. Well, because like you look up the definition.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
it has to do with like money and stuff. But at the same time, though, if you dig a little further into
Yeah.
the definition, like it covers so many different aspects and
Yeah.
areas of your life. Just being successful at what you're doing, or being really
Absolutely.
good
Yeah.
at whatever it is that you're doing. And so that's where it like really spoke to me.
I mean, like I feel like prosperity is. I mean, people generally think money, but prosperity means like prosperity and like in yourself and like building
Yeah.
The
yourself
joy,
up, the joy,
peace,
prosperity
Yes.
in your family,
Yeah.
like having them watching them grow and doing things that they love.
abundance,
Yeah.
overflow.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely.
That's good.
These are all amazing words to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say.
I think the first step with all this is just self-awareness.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, I mean-
absolutely. You gotta
Yeah.
know.
So
What do you have to do, JERiCK?
basically, call your own bullshit.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Oh yeah.
you know
You
you're
know.
full of shit.
You
Come
have
on.
to. Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago, that's when I called my own bullshit. I was
love
like,
that.
I have all these dreams and goals. I was like, oh, I was gonna retire at 45, I'm gonna be rich. But then I wasn't doing anything about. I mean, I
know what
wasn't
that's
doing
like.
anything towards that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of dreaming,
Yeah.
and
That's
yeah. And then I came across Gary Vaynerchuk's videos. I don't know if you guys know who he is,
Mm-mm.
the
but
name sounds familiar.
look him up. It's actually pretty cool. But I don't know, for some reason he just popped up on my feed. First time I see his
Love it.
videos, I'm like, man, this guy's full of shit. Like, yeah, like, because I think I was more of, maybe in my mind, I was a little bit offended. Because,
Like it triggered you.
yeah, it kind of triggered me. He
Oh,
was
I
like,
love it.
because he was like, oh, you're full of shit. You're bullshitting yourself. And then I
Are
was
you
like,
at the TV? You're like, talk about it.
no,
What?
like, come at me,
Right.
bro.
Yeah, shit.
and
Like,
then
it's
I was,
YouTube.
you don't know me.
Yeah.
no, as the video goes on, I was like, okay, I mean that makes sense. So and then the next videos,
converted.
Yeah.
it just keeps going and going, and then
Welcome
I was
to the cult of Gary.
yeah, I was following him religiously for like a long time,
Yeah.
and I think one of the people that I really want to meet and I'm going to is probably
Post Malone.
him.
Oh.
No,
Mine's Post Malone.
no.
I
'Cause,
want to sit in the same room as that
'cause
dude.
he
Really
was-
bad.
He was the one that basically kind of turned my life around. At least like
love
for like the on
change your
the
perspective.
Turning points.
the motivational,
Yeah.
coach or
Yeah.
whatever.
Life coach,
Yeah.
motivational
Yeah.
coach.
But he's
Love
not.
that.
He hates being called a motivational speaker because he's a businessman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
I have a woman.
He just
version
happens
of
to
that.
be like motivating, you know.
Well, that's a coach though. But mine, I have a woman version of that. Her name's Sandy Krakowski, and she's a badass. She is a
Ooh.
badass.
Look them up if you guys are in this rut.
She's
Yeah.
made. I think she made her first million by 30.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
during
I'm,
that time, yeah.
behind her by like $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, during that time, that's when I started vlogging,
Mhm.
and then I think after that, everything just kind of start
Yeah.
making sense.
Yeah.
Put in that.
Which
put
is
in the
good
action.
Yeah.
because he is one of the most talented people in this
Yeah.
town. I don't care who's on here. Like, love to all people that are.
She's adding you guys.
no,
Step up your
people.
game.
No, not even people that are dedicated to their craft. Like,
Yeah.
do you? But for me personally, I think you're one of the most talented people.
Oh,
He's
thank
been
you.
told it's a thing, and he's very humble about it. So he likes to not acknowledge it very much, which is
We
fine.
had a conversation
I'm
about
gonna
that.
cut this clip
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. No.
Most
We'll-
wanted.
We'll talk. We'll look back at it.
Hey,
Every
just send me
you know.
that percentage. Send me
I
the
gotcha, I
percentage.
gotcha.
It's fine. It's totally fine. No, but I forgot what I was saying. I literally forgot what I was saying.
That I'm awesome.
No, besides that, I forgot what I was saying. I forgot. I had a point to it. I totally spaced. It's been a long day. I've been
You're
up
talking
since
about,
5 a.m.
doing your craft, do your thing, do you.
Oh yeah,
and
do it. Like that's the whole point. Is
that's
like
being a good husband, by the way.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm pretty-
He's a good listener.
He's a good
He is a good
listening
listener.
skills. 'Cause we brought it in. We brought the love stuff in here. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
no, it's true though. It's a 100% true.
Okay,
he
wait,
has
keep
to.
going.
No, seriously, no, I totally forgot.
Build me up. Build me
Yeah.
up.
No, I totally forgot. I don't even remember what.
Oh no, I meant what she was
I
saying.
blame-
Oh, okay. okay.
Man.
Oh, well,
Sorry,
I mean, I guess,
you are great though, but
to jump onto your train for a quick minute here. I understand where you're coming from. I think it's important to know that like you see all these other people, they're succeeding and they're doing their own thing, and then you're
Mhm.
sitting there like, oh, okay, why can't I not be them like them? Or you can be that one person who's like, oh, I've always wanted to be this, and like I'm not. I don't think I'm good enough.
ooh,
Don't-
that's hard. That's a hard
yeah.
place.
yeah.
Mhm.
Don't discourage yourself. Don't think of yourself as somebody who can do it, because you know what? There's a cool saying out that I read. The master was once a student. You know what I'm saying?
I love
Yeah.
that one. And I love this one. I love that all things have already been done. I saw that
Yeah.
at LA Fashion Week, and it was this big old painting that I should have taken a picture of.
Yeah.
It's just like a painting of these words, and I was standing there, I was like, oh, that means something to me. It's super significant. And I was like, I should take a picture. But I didn't, like a dumbass.
Yeah.
So, but
But it's all right
true.
here.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. And you know what? Like, not everybody, if you don't know what you want to do, totally fine. Dude, write a list. And where it starts, you know, whether it turns into a business or a really great hobby that feeds your soul, you know, happiness and joy doesn't have to be all about money. If you already got money and you're
True.
still sad,
Mhm.
what feeds your soul? Who are you? And if you don't know who you are behind, you know, like behind the money, then that's a problem.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
you can be happy and rich, or you can be happy and poor. That's totally
Yeah.
up to you.
I want to be happy and rich.
Yes.
So I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But
But I think those things has to be like side by side.
yeah.
And you know what? If you're poor and you're still happy, that's still actually.
I
feel
love
like
those people though.
I feel like
They're so
happiness is trumps like
Yeah. Happiness
trumps money.
overall.
Everything.
For sure.
Overall.
It's true. I want to be able to buy groceries, but that's just me.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously, but
yeah.
because I think, sorry, I'm just kind of lost because
Well, I got you.
yeah.
There's a saying out there where it says, if you're doing something that you love, you're not really working at all. Is that the one you're trying to get at? I think that's what you're.
No,
trying
we've
to get
been saying that on the podcast, but we
Oh,
never
okay.
get that shit right.
at. Oh yeah.
But
all the way up to
you guys
episode
know.
one.
Oh my gosh.
This is
Alright.
the 33rd episode.
And we still don't know our shit.
Yeah, but
Damn.
You'll get it.
you're basically if you do what you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah, there we
that's
go. There
the
we go.
that's the quote right there.
But again, like if you don't know what you like, make a list. The things that make you happy could be
Yeah.
trees. It could be, I mean, I have a friend that she's a badass. This girl looked like a model, right? And she majored in, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher it. She's going to kill me. She is going to
Is
kill
she
me. It's
watching
like,
on live?
yeah, it's like wildlife reservation. I don't know. It's better than a park ranger.
Preservation.
Mm.
Isn't it?
Preservation. I don't know. She's a badass. I mean, this girl's out in the middle of the desert breaking
Yeah.
snakes' necks. Like, they don't care if they're out in the middle of the desert and they don't have medical attention because they're like, oh, if we get bit, we have basically our medical thing. And if something needs to be killed, we have this gun or we just
Damn.
pull its teeth out or do whatever. But when you see
Dang.
her, she's this tall, skinny thing and she's gorgeous. And you're just like,
Out of nowhere,
I
she's just
plot
like,
twist.
"Watcha!"
Plot
You know,
twist for
like-
me, right? But she knows.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
But she
Kill
loves
snakes.
she loves all the girly stuff and she loves all the stuff that I love, but she's out doing other things too to like really fuel her soul. And so that's
Right.
really important.
And I think what I'm starting to notice too is like people think there's only one side of them. It's
True.
okay
Oh.
to have multiple things
All
because
sides.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
recently just learned that because I enjoy a lot of things. I enjoy this, I enjoy that, I enjoy 5 different things.
Which makes you a badass. 100%.
Yeah,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
I think for most people it's just like, oh, I should just be focusing on one thing
Yeah.
and just do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Jason struggled
And you
with that.
don't necessarily have to do that.
No, that's 100%.
Because for me, there's like different sides of me. There's, there's the hustle, like, oh, I'm hustling, editing overnight. And then some days I'm just like, I don't want to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
No,
I just want to sit here and watch TV.
Yeah.
And I would do that
Always.
all day. I won't do anything. And then I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't accomplish anything today.
Yeah, but like
But
I feel like after I do that all the time, but when I get to that point, I'm just like, oh shit, I gotta do something that's productive as
Yeah.
fuck.
and I think
it kind of like reignites, like,
Yeah.
all right, here we go.
yeah, you just gotta be okay with that. Like if you want to work, hustle all the time, do it. But if you just want to sit there and not do anything, do that
Do
too.
it.
Yeah, false guilt comes
like
with
learn
that.
to be
Yeah.
okay with it.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
And also, do you want to speak into the whole, choosing to focus on one thing and panicking because you know what I mean? Like you want to. I feel like
So-
that's powerful.
So like
That's a good version and perspective.
I'm kind of like the classic case of I've kind of done a little bit of everything,
Oh, me too. Me
and
too.
like people are like, but you're kind of younger, and I'm just like,
Are
know,
you?
Like, well, okay, younger in a sense, early 30s, okay, and so like
What?
you hit this
you were
point,
younger than
you know,
that.
like people ask you those questions, but like I've been I've done so many things, and I've noticed that when I finally hit the point where I was like, I want to do one thing. I want to figure out what that thing is.
Mhm.
That's like saying like tomorrow I'm going to go out. If you're single, that's like saying tomorrow I'm going to go out and I'm going to find the one out of 7 billion people. I'm going to find the one that's meant for me. It's like, it takes time, dude.
And
you know,
it's a
like
process.
it's a process,
It's a
right?
process.
So I think for me, like when I started trying to hone in on trying to do just one thing,
Mhm.
it was like I got so over infatuated or obsessed with trying to do that one thing that it was like everything else was blocked out.
Yeah.
Like my relationship was suffering, you know, my personal
Yeah.
growth was suffering, my happiness was suffering. And so like
He just didn't have
sometimes-
enough.
Yeah. And like sometimes
For
it
him.
is okay to be open enough to be like, it's okay to want to do more than just one thing.
Mhm.
And it's
Self-sabotage is kind of
Yeah.
like the main theme with that. Like once
For
you
sure.
focus too much on one thing, and if it doesn't look that way, then you can't do it, or you can't go and do
Yeah.
this because it's going to take away from that one thing that you thought was going to look like that. But life doesn't work like that, and dreams don't work like that either.
no,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
at
You know what
all.
I mean?
And
They just don't.
I think for a lot of people too, it's scary, especially
Oh,
if you're trying to be like entrepreneur, businessman, businesswoman, whatever. It's like once if that thing fails, like you're kind of scared. Like fuck, what's everybody gonna think? You know?
no, that's
It's like
I know
I
about that.
had that fear for like a long time. I was like, shit, if I don't make this like money, I might have to fucking go back and find a job.
Sure.
And then it's like, fuck, what's everybody gonna think?
No, that's my
You know?
that's my attitude. My
Yeah.
attitude is like, listen, if I fail, which I won't in that way, because I'm never gonna give up. But if I do
Yeah,
fail, corporate's always gonna be there.
That's
it just
true.
is.
That's true.
It absolutely is. Now my youth and my drive and my health and everything might not always be here.
yeah, that's
and I will, like, I'm the type of person, like, I will. And if it doesn't look or doesn't come out the way that I thought it was going to, fail forward. Failing
Fail
forward.
forward.
Yeah.
Failing
That's
forward
important to
is
know.
the ultimate badass
Absolutely.
thing.
Because you can
Yeah.
either look at it as like, oh, I failed, I have to get this job. Everybody's gonna make fun of me for failing.
Hmm.
Or you can go follow whatever your dream is, and if that fails, you still have a chance for a corporate job, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, but don't go back. That's the thing.
Yeah.
For me personally, once I start making decisions and going forward in life,
Yeah.
the doors, it's like you want to look behind you and be like, oh shit, like I could, because people told me, they were
Yeah.
like, hey, don't, like you could always pick up a few hours at the coffee shop you were working in. And I was just like, when you look over your shoulder, you're like, damn, like that door doesn't even exist anymore. And that's not because
Yeah.
they wouldn't necessarily take me back. Like it just is like, you keep going forward and what's behind you is behind you.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
just-
go back. In your mind,
absolutely.
in your mental
It's
space,
just not
there's
in
no
your
way.
Yeah.
It's not in the cards anymore. I don't even know how to explain it. Until you start
Yeah.
walking it out, like, for yourself, like, then you really know. I don't
So-
know. That was the most surreal thing for me to experience, though.
So, just kind of like playing off of that a little bit. So Arnold Schwarzenegger had this speech that he did,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna go super deep into detail, but
Go
basically
deep.
one of the things. Well, I guess it like broke, like it was one of the break the internet videos,
That's
and
cool.
it was like one of the most viewed videos in like history. And one of the things that he said in that video, and take it how you will. And it doesn't mean that you absolutely can't do something else if it didn't go right. But one of the things that he says is like your worst, enemy is plan B. Because if you're not doing your plan A and you're not willing to go fully into it,
Yeah.
why even do it if you're just waiting to fall back on,
On
a
a plan
plan B
B.
as a safety net,
That
right?
means you didn't make
and
a
that
decision,
spoke to me
basically.
so big.
Damn. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
because I think when you have a plan B, you're kind of holding back yourself too.
Correct,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't have to try as hard because I have this safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a safety net, you're gonna fucking do whatever the fuck you need to do.
Yeah.
You're
No,
gonna
it's-
make it happen.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's having a tent with, what I've heard this expression, having a tent with loose tent pegs or legs. I don't know which
Yeah,
one it is
yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't know anything about tents. But basically, the willingness to shift. So it doesn't just have to look like this. You might have had that vision, like, ooh, I had a vision. I had a vision and I had a plan. I had
Yeah.
a really solid plan in July when I left my stable income ready to shift and everything. And you
Yeah.
know what ended up happening? For me personally, like, I believe in God. So for me, I was just like, God kind of like sat me down. He was just like, chick, like, sit down for a second. And everything around me started unraveling as like a person, like it was crazy. And if you don't take care of you, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do all of it kind of girl. And about 6 months in, I start getting claustrophobic, and I'm like, oh shit, I've been working like the same hours of like 2 to 3 jobs. I need to, I maybe I should go see a movie. Like I love to work. It's not like, oh, I put things off. I just genuinely love to do what I do.
Yeah.
And I love to take risks, and I love to jump off cliffs like that and do the next thing in that momentum. I really ride on that kind of thing. But he was just like, sit down, chick.
Yeah,
Like,
because I think that's what
we need to chill for a sec.
what I was doing for a while. Because I had, before I quit my job, like for that, maybe like that last year, I was working on that job for 3 years exactly. For that last year, I was kind of wasn't necessarily satisfied with what I was doing, and I kind of wanted to get out of there. And obviously, I was doing my side hustle during that time, so I was like, "Oh, okay, this is good. I'm working during the day, and then I gotta do my side hustle at night and weekends."
Mhm.
And then the last 3 months of that, because me and Christian were working for a while.
Yeah.
He left before I did, and then
Oh, let me tell you my story for that one too.
yeah,
I was actually gonna bring that up.
yeah. But the last 3 months, I was so depressed and stressed that
Yeah, that's real.
like driving into work, like I was like on the verge of like crying, just driving into work because I
Your
was
soul's
just
like dying.
yeah, I was like, why the fuck am I doing this every single day? I hate it.
That's that moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was like, man, I need this money, and it was obviously paying the bills, but I was like, this is not worth it anymore. And then I just decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna quit.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
figure something else out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I had a little bit of safety net because I knew I had a gig coming up. I was like, okay, I have this big gig coming up. I'm gonna be good for the next, couple months if nothing happens after
Sure.
that.
JERiCK, I need that gig.
So
I need that side gig, that side hustle right there.
I mean, that money went through fast. So
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
but I think, how long has it been? 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surviving.
Yeah.
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 No, I
What was
feel that.
yours?
Well, mine's almost the same as JERiCK. I didn't have a plan B. At the time, like I was trying to do the same thing as JERiCK, but I already lost my camera, so I was like, oh shoot, I got nothing. I'm living on my own, paying my own bills. I'm and my rent is not that cheap. When I left
Mhm.
when I left my parents' home, I was like, oh shit, this is what real life is like. So, like, being out here, you gotta hustle. You gotta do what you need to do. So, knowing that like this job that we were at was not given enough and was literally just trying to kick us out at that point, we're just like, oh, okay, then we'll, like I was high key scared. I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't know how to pay for my bills. I don't know, I barely eat, so I don't buy my own groceries. And what am I gonna do? So I told myself, that's it. Like I'm a buckle down. I'm a hustle. I'm a grind. And I'm gonna try and get. I need a job. And
Mhm.
it was at that moment that I realized that like if you don't put 110% in anything that you do, you're not gonna get anything at all. Like you're not helping yourself. You're literally just doing nothing.
Yeah.
So what I did, I bust out all the newspapers. I was on Craigslist. I was like, every day I was spent at a coffee shop applying, making sure that my resume is up, teaching myself like the techniques, all these, teaching myself like coding, teaching myself to do all this IT stuff, just
Yeah.
making sure that I know my stuff. So that way, if anybody were to come up to me and ask me like, hey, like this is what's in the interview, that I'd be more than prepared.
You were already prepping yourself.
Yeah.
And
setting yourself up.
preparation looks different for everybody.
everybody, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
depending on wherever you're at. And same thing with like going after your goals and dreams and things like that. It's different for everyone. It doesn't mean you have to go out and quit your job right now.
Yeah.
That just so happens we all have that in common. And for mine, like for me personally, I wasn't. If you would have asked me 2 years ago if I was going to leave
Yeah.
my the coffee shop I worked at, I would have told you, no, I'm going to do my business. I'm going to build this. Oh, and I'm going to do the coffee shop and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do it all kind of thing because that's the type of psycho I am.
Mhm.
And for me personally, community is a big thing. And at the time, I left a corporate job to go into the coffee scene, and I just worked drive-through. And I loved my drive-through and my people. I love people, so I like talking to them. And so if I were to be a barista, I'm not really good with numbers. I would have had to like really focus. I wouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
the downtime that I had. But if you would ask me 2 years ago if I was ever willing to leave, I mean, I had it all figured out. I was like, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to work here. And then if I have a project in LA and I get hired out for like, I'm just going to go do that. First of all, it's not realistic. And second of all, I got to this point earlier this year where it was like, I could feel the shift for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, my time there was expired. It just, you can feel it. You can feel that shift. And it took me a few months to finally get to the point where I was like, yeah, no, I think I need to do this. I really do think and again, I had a plan. And it didn't go according to my plan. And it's been 7 months and I pretty much have been in I finished out contracts and I've been in semi-retirement, basically like healing and like soul searching sounds like you're just doing nothing for yourself. But I legitimately as a person was going through a lot of healing for myself that I didn't realize I needed at the time. And I really needed the downtime and I needed the time to change my mind about my goals. And since I'm a busybody, like I would have kept doing everything I was doing and then try to do it. And it wouldn't have been realistic to reach the big goals that I have because I really do have huge goals and dreams that people are like, you are a freak. And by the way, that happens to 1 in a million. But for me, I'm like, say hello to your 1 in a million. You know what I mean? That's me.
Right.
So, and I got like, you would think that you would get all the love and support. That's the other thing with walking out your dreams. If you guys are not getting the love and the support that you think that you should get from the people that you expect it from, understand that if they're negative about it or they're worried about it or whatever have you that isn't uplifting you in any kind of way, understand that is what you call normal. It's what you call normal, and that means that your dreams are big enough. And you have to know you enough to know, for me, if I know it's right for me, you know what I mean? And for us, I'm not solo here, but we talk about everything. So, for me, my person, so to speak, like for me, if I know that something's right for me, even if it doesn't look like it's going to pan out or whatever, but I know I have that gut feeling and that instinct and things like that even if it doesn't go according to plan, like something will pan out because I'm that type of person. If you know something's right for you, do it.
Do it.
Absolutely do it. That's like my biggest heart cry for people. Like I always say, like for the love of it all, do it. Jump. Do whatever you know that thing. I mean, it could be like, okay, I really need to get my shit together and I need to do my own laundry. I need to do my laundry. My mama got to stop doing it. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is.
Take little steps.
Yeah, take the steps. Do the things you know you need to do. And if it seems like it's like, okay, it's time to relocate or whatever have you, but maybe all your family's here. Do whatever you know you need to do for yourself because here's the thing. Here's the truth. If you do not do it when you know you should, eventually, after you basically kind of like dumb yourself down and do what's expected of you, I will promise you, it is going to come full circle. Yep. You're going to hit that moment again, and you're going to again have the opportunity to do what you know you should do for you and basically take control of your life and your happiness and your joy. So why not do it sooner?
Yeah.
Why not be brave and do it sooner?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And talking about preparedness earlier, you can never be too prepared.
True.
Even if you were prepared, even as prepared as I was doing the things that I was doing, I was never prepared. Like all the interviews that came at me, I was like, "Oh snap! I didn't prepare for that. I didn't study that. I didn't do this."
I love it. Wing it. That's talent.
Yeah, you just gotta like prepare, but expect that you're not as prepared as you should be.
And do it anyway.
Just do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Absolutely do it.
It's the thing. I'm a strong believer of. Like obviously, you've done everything. In whatever craft you're doing, is you've already done everything you can during that time. So like whatever opportunity comes to you that's what you're prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look back at yourself and then you're thinking, man, how come I'm not getting the opportunity that I'm supposed to be getting? Then you have to reevaluate yourself. I'm like, am I good enough for this? And if not, what can I do to be better?
Yeah, that's a mindset.
Because like opportunities will come, but you better make sure you're ready for that opportunity when it comes.
Yeah, sure. Or be really good at winging it and know that afterwards too, like
still be willing to.
Because I mean,
for
me, I wing everything, but I'm like
for the most part. But there's some things I'm stickler or something.
the thing is, just like, yes, I wing everything, but I have the skills and because I've worked so hard to be able to be, at least for that type of project, or for that,
Self-sufficient.
for that client, like, I can wing it, but I already did all the work. But if anybody else can wing it, they will fail.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
you have to look at it
have to
that
know
way too.
you.
Like, so depending on your skill level, it's the skill level that you can wing.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
Hey,
out.
Always
Yeah.
know yourself. If you're not good at winging it, don't do it. Just prepare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to point out too, like a lot of the things we talked about earlier, like making your bed,
Mhm.
you know, and like what that can actually do for you, like as far as like building habits, healthy habits, you know, discipline, you know, confidence, whatever it is. Those are also beginning points. Like, so
Yes.
we talked about those things as far as developing as a person, developing as far as like setting new habits and things like that. But, you know, for anyone listening, that's also like, that could be somebody's starting point. And everyone's going to have a different starting point as figuring out what it is they want to do or the thing they want to do. But I would just encourage that a lot of times it does look like those small little baby steps. A lot of times it's not, well, I got to pay for this course and join this certification program or whatever. Sometimes it does look as simple as doing those little baby
Yeah.
steps.
Because
you
like,
know?
it sounds silly, but like making my bed,
Mhm.
it's weird because sometimes, like, sometimes when I have to rush out of here, like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
You feel bad about it?
And then like I'm leaving it, I'm like, fuck it. If I'm gonna be late, fuck it. I'm gonna
I might as well.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna be late anyways.
That's
Fuck it.
discipline.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I still have to make my bed. Yeah,
That's
That's
Well, and
dedication,
sometimes-
actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the end of the day, like whether it's your starting point or if you're somebody like me where everything was falling apart, including myself, sometimes your wins really do look like just making your bed and maybe you showered that day or you know
Yeah,
depending on where
sure.
everyone's different, everyone has different struggles, but sometimes
Um,
like tackle the things that you know that you can do.
yeah. Take that one win. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
The
it. It's
momentum.
Exactly.
appreciating
Like,
where
yeah,
you're at.
that's really small, making your bed, but that's still one win that you didn't have.
All of us here are like, is it small or is
Right.
it powerful?
Actually, it's-
everyone's sitting here like, did I make my bed?
Yeah, it's,
My bed is huge, so
You know, it's- trust me on
That
this
king
one.
size.
Make your bed.
make your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Do what you know you
That's
can
a good.
do.
That's a solid takeaway from this.
Yeah.
But
I think whatever you take away from this, just make your bed.
yeah,
Yeah. Just
and
do it.
and do it
Yeah.
anyway. But like
Yeah.
do things anyway. Like do it anyway. If you are getting discouragement from people, do it anyway. If you feel like a piece of shit, but you know it's the right thing for you, do it
Do it
anyway.
anyway.
Yeah.
If you're embarrassed or
Things
you
straight.
think you're not good enough,
Do
it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
literally
So,
do it despite it.
Yeah.
we're gonna end it soon, but I wanna on that note,
Do it.
so a friend of mine, he gave us a little feedback on the podcast. You got this text last night.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm ready.
his feedback was we need to be a little bit more real in the podcast.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure exactly what he meant, but
Was
I
it the
took it as-
sunglasses?
I
Was
don't
it the
know. I
sunglasses?
don't think
You're
the
like, I
sunglasses.
switched.
Maybe it was just like maybe we didn't share enough, or we didn't.
Bare your soul.
And trust us
I was-
when you come out here and you come up to us and you talk to us about the things that we talk about here on the podcast, we take everything you say to heart.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So I took that feedback and I told him what I thought, and basically what I said is I'm always 100% real on the podcast, and I told him like, oh yeah, well, I'm always real. Like I even dedicated a whole episode about my breakup or whatever.
yeah.
Well, his comment was like, oh, it didn't feel like there was like enough emotion into it. And then my argument was, I'm not a very emotional person.
I was gonna say, but maybe
Um,
he doesn't know you the way that
Well,
he thinks he does, because you are very straightforward.
yeah, I mean, I told him that, like, dude, like, I'm pretty stoic. Like, I don't overreact or I don't get
Stoic.
excited.
I do.
That's a good word.
Yeah, it's like I'm not like Christian. So,
Aw,
no,
love
Christian,
to you.
Christian's very, like,
I'm like that. I'm like, woo. Look
no,
at
because
you.
Christian is very, like,
Coffee for
animated.
me?
Sure.
And, you know, he's very emotional, and I'm just like the opposite way. And I feel like
Yes.
this is why this dynamic works out, because if we were both excited, I don't know if that's like too much energy.
That's too much energy. You
Yeah.
gotta tone it
Yeah.
down, JERiCK. You're too
Yeah.
excited, man.
Yeah.
Relax over there.
I know.
I'll
Yeah.
take the energy.
Shut up.
But then I basically
it.
told him it's like, I'm always 100% real in the podcast, and like I always want to be honest of what I say. Whatever I'm saying is 100% my opinion.
Well, yeah, and on
Mhm.
top of it, like I feel like the podcast that I've watched and everything, everybody that you bring on here is literally 100% some of the most genuine and authentic, and those are kind of the same words. There's like synonyms, but just I know synonyms. I call them cinnamon still.
Cinnamons.
You making me
I
hungry.
do. Anyways, but everyone that you guys have had on here as a guest is awesome. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they're like really great human beings. So I don't feel
Yeah.
like anybody that
'Cause
you
I
know,
think-
like you have a collective, a brotherhood
Mhm.
of like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not the
Mhm.
same, but everyone's like on the up and up and like growing and moving and grooving
I feel
and
like there's
trying.
been
Yeah.
some good
and-
humility
Yes,
here
I think,
tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
His main feedback was like maybe the lack of emotion.
Sure.
I'm not
Like
sure if
connecting.
it was exactly what he was talking about, but to wrap this all up with your point about just do it,
do it anyway.
because there are
Always.
some times in the podcast where I'm like, I don't want to do the podcast today.
Oh, I loved when yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't feel like doing it,
That's
but I
being real right
still
there.
got to do it
No.
anyways.
Yo,
Yeah.
trust me when I say I did not get no sleep last night. I was like, oh man, I got a fucking podcast to do today. I don't want to do
And
it.
that,
But I'm still here.
yeah,
That
I mean, I
happens
even
to
told
all
him
of
too,
us.
like,
Yeah.
don't take it as like me trying to defend myself or like me undermining his feedback, but
Absolutely.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's like my 100% is like only the 80% of what I can bring that day, because sometimes I don't feel like it.
Well,
you know?
plus on
True.
top of it, like I feel like you take things with a grain of salt. So if that person didn't think you were like emotional, I mean, I could. My friends on here are probably going to be like, "What happened?" If they told me something like that, I'd be like, "Girl, do you know who you're talking to?" Like maybe I was a little laid back that day, but you know, people troll a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
feedback is feedback.
Yeah, I don't think he
but-
was trolling, but you know,
No,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
no, but
No,
like
it's
on,
good feedback
on like
either way, you know?
like on followers and stuff like that. Like that's another thing too, is if you do have a big following and you are on social media and things like that, know which comments to look at. So that feedback, obviously, you know this person, and that's valuable feedback.
Absolutely.
Whereas if someone's on
Yeah.
there like causing a ruckus, ignore that. Be on your merry way with your badass self. Like keep going, do it and keep going.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Do it and keep going. It doesn't
Constructive
matter.
criticism.
Is good, and
Take it
I
well,
everyone has a hard time with it.
yeah.
Especially
And I
when you
even
have
said,
feelings.
Ooh,
Myself.
I got one thing I want to end with.
Okay, go
this,
for it.
This is totally not planned, but this is something we've been working on.
Man,
okay?
you
Ooh.
Alright?
this better be good, because you just hyped it up right now.
Yeah.
I know you
Who's
hella
he?
hype me up. Let's go.
Hold
No,
on. When he
no,
said
are
we,
you-
he meant him. What?
Okay, no, really, ready for
Where's
this?
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Sing.
I want to tell you.
Do
I
it.
think that you are awesome at what you do.
Oh.
That's a very bland
Yeah.
way of saying that, but no, I think you're extremely talented.
Oh, thank
Like
you.
you have a way to reel people in a way that makes them listen. You can be very captivating. I think that's an awesome quality about you. And
I haven't heard. That's the first. That's the first. So keep going.
Yeah, feed his ego to
God,
it.
Jason,
My
I feel like we need to encourage
No,
Christian
and-
now.
and-
Christian,
I
you
know,
are
yeah.
awesome.
I got a lot of ego. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
no, and see, that's I already know that though, and he knows that. Like people that are able to be like that and like super outgoing like that, like they know that.
Why
and
do you think
that's okay.
Jerk doesn't know it? He
But-
gets told it like 10 times a day.
But no, like I'm being totally 100% serious though. Like I just wanted to tell you that. Like I think that it takes a lot of not just like guts to put yourself out and be vulnerable like
It
that and
does,
actually
though.
be open and honest, and a lot of
yeah,
times that is being real. But I just want to tell you, like, it takes a lot to do that, and especially since this is something that you wanted to do that was a goal as a part of you,
Yeah.
of something that you wanted to get better at, something that you wanted to grow and strengthen in your life. So I just wanted to tell you I think that's awesome, and I wanted to give you kudos for that.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to tell you why I did that. I
Yeah.
did that, one, because I 100% meant all of that. But two, sometimes it's hard to take like a really good compliment of I think you're one of the most talented people in town. And it's like, oh shoot, like that's a lot of pressure or whatever, or whatever, resonates with that person.
yeah.
But I think it's really important for all of us
For
to
everybody hear it.
yeah,
Exactly.
to be able to the people that you connect with, the people that you talk to, to remember that like we are all here together. We are all in this together. So to be able to look at you or to look at you and look at you and say, I think this about you, and I think that is so great. A lot of times, like, we miss that in everyday life, and a lot of times, like, it's not like we have to stand on everyone else's approval or their great opinions about you.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like, there's power in being able to say that to somebody too.
In fact, don't
you know?
stand on people's validation because then you're going to start doing things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Right.
But know your worth, and also know that because it always baffles me, man. And people come to me and like, yo, that podcast. I'm like, y'all listen to this podcast? Yo, I'm just out here just. I just try to
listen to this
You're
nonsense.
just that guy over here, like waving.
Yeah. Hey.
Aw.
But I do appreciate everybody's tuned in so far. I appreciate you guys for hopping in on this.
Thank you guys for
Yes.
having us.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
Yeah.
And if you like this topic, we could probably do like a extended
Yeah,
version
we'll do
of,
an extended version of this.
segments of it.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any feedback or want us to talk about certain topics and weigh in about walking out your dreams, whether it's like comfortability, like being comfortable or like staying in your comfort zone. Comfort zones. Oh God.
I got a good one. Having one spouse go before the other. Who goes first and
Ooh.
supporting that
Ooh.
one while they're
Relationships.
going.
That is a real
that's a
topic.
good one,
Next
man.
time when these two come back, we'll talk about relationships.
Oh yeah,
go.
we have to.
Yeah.
Husband and wife. That's
Husband
a
and wife,
powerful
they've been
combo
together
right
for
there.
7 years.
7
It's,
years.
it's a good
Powerful.
story.
I got questions.
It's a good
But
story.
yeah, before we end this podcast, like we normally don't say this in the podcast, but please,
Do it anyway.
yeah, I'm gonna shameless plug right now, but
Like it's
please like or give us a rating in whatever podcast station you listen to.
No,
Yeah.
but you should
'Cause,
ask. You should ask for those things though, so
'cause
that
I-
people know that you actually want them to.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we
That's a
want
good thing.
feedback
Absolutely.
if you guys actually enjoy this, and if
Yeah, I want to stop going around and be like, "What? You listen
Yeah.
to me?
if you
I need to
Yeah.
know."
if you enjoy it,
Yeah, give a thumbs
subscribe,
up.
follow,
Way on-
subscribe, like,
Weigh on the threads, like tune
Yeah.
in on the threads and
actually rate us, or what is it, a comment or something?
Yeah, comment
Yeah, like or
Comment
Or
Yes.
a
us.
review, or what is
Review
it? A
us.
review on the Apple Podcast.
whatever you're listening to.
Oh,
if
you're
you
on
like
this
it.
is on you. It's on the Apple too.
Yeah, Apple
Yeah, we're on
Podcast,
every
Spotify,
podcast,
everywhere.
Hey, if
For
you're out
everyone.
there and you're hating, put it out there
Yeah.
too.
Clearly, Monica's not
Feedback.
listening.
No, I am on Facebook. I didn't know that it was on.
She's still
It's
stuck on the
everywhere.
book.
I thought it wasn't on an audio. That's why I thought it was.
That's
It's
so,
not like
that's so
oh,
2007.
see, I'm telling you, I'm not a techie. That's why I have these boys around me. I don't deal with that. Like I only know a certain amount.
Well, yeah.
But do this way.
Well,
I was
yeah. It's,
what was I was 17, and my dad was. I had my dad on the phone hooking up I was in my first apartment on. No, it was 18. No, I was 19. I don't know. Anyways, I was a teenager still,
Yeah.
and I was I was in my apartment hooking up my internet,
Yeah,
and I don't know how they do it now, but they have the
Router?
boxes
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
have the cords or whatever.
yeah.
And my dad on the phone was just like, I don't know how to hook this up or whatever. He's just like, well, are the LEDs flashing? And I was like, what's an LED? He was like, come on, Monica. Like, legit. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I know now, though.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, we're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever you listen to.
See,
Shameless
that's,
plug.
yeah, that's, and weigh in on the threads, comments, follow us, message us.
And
Hit
you
us
know,
up.
you guys
hit
want
us
to
up
do
and-
a shameless plug for you guys?
Now that we've done our shameless plug.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what I just say my handle?
Yeah,
Yes.
throw your handle out there.
Okay, so I live heavily on Instagram. I am on Facebook, and I have my own business page. My name's Monica Espinoza, and it's Monika. My last name's Espinoza. That's also not spelled normal. It's Espinosa. So that's on Facebook. I do check in, but mostly to pop off my notifications. I know it's terrible. People are like, Facebook is still alive, and I believe that, except I love Instagram so much I just focus there. And my handle for IG is I am, so it's I and then am as in AM, and then it's Moni, Moni, and my last name Espinoza, Espinosa, or just type in the search Monica Espinoza and I will pop up. What else? And yeah, go ahead and message me if you need anything or have any questions about beauty. I'm a skin lover and junkie. I have 1,000 food and chemical allergies. It's unbelievable. It kind of falls underneath the category of autoimmune. So all of my clients, like my kit, which is, her name's Casey, my kit, meaning my supplies, my beauty supplies, it's very, very, very good product. So I like to educate on that. I do events, fashion shows. I do the whole shebang. And if you're in LA, hit me up.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Never know who's watching.
Yeah.
All right.
Mine is Jason.077. It's JAYSON.077. Pretty simple. I do a lot of fitness stuff on there. It is my personal page, but I also do a lot of little fitness plugs. And
He makes
if
very
you-
good videos.
if you want any tips and tricks or just have any questions, I'm not stingy. I'm not one of those guys that's like, I can't answer 5 questions because
Like you gotta pay me
You
$100
gotta
bucks.
pay me.
You need to
There's a
pay-
premium.
yeah, like come on, like honestly, like that's the art of offering value in like caring about people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I had somebody message me the other day and he was asking me a question about certain shoulder muscles and he was like, well, how do I do this? And so I sent him a bunch of info on it and had a conversation with him about it, and he was super thankful. And
I
it's
get
like
that from
it's as easy as that. It doesn't have to be this crazy, you owe me money thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kindness,
I think
guys,
if you just
kindness.
give, money will come.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
generosity is a real
Yeah.
thing. Also, my YouTube is coming. That's kind of been under wraps for a little bit, but look out for that, and I will be posting about it. And my boy JERiCK is going to be on that. So,
Hey.
meaning doing my work for me. So if the videos look beautiful, it's not me looking good. It's all him.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
This
thank
is
you guys for
fun.
having
Yeah.
us.
I want
had
to
a
do round
blast.
2.
Yes.
Hey, we can't.
Extended version.
We'll do it for sure.
Yeah.
love it.
Absolutely. We can't wait to have you guys back onto the show. Hey, if you're out there and you're listening, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching, like and subscribe. Yeah,
Follow.
follow us.
Follow us on
Oh, yeah.
Instagram.
We'll see you out there.
Have a beautiful evening.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
See you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.
Later.